All right. That was an interesting conversation. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This is a computer that was brought in by a customer that they said one of the fans is grinding and they're having a little bit of overheating going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this. We're going to verify. We're going to see if that's actually what's going on. And then we're going to go from there. I've already purchased a replacement cooler because I'm pretty sure the problem is not one of the fans. So I'm turn this on, turn this on. Yeah. So does this come off? Yeah, it does. So remove this front cover. We're gonna get this down in here. So you can hear that. That grinding sound you're hearing is the pump inside the cooler failing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to replace the entire cooler and go from there. We're going to take the video card out just to give ourselves a little bit more space. Something I recommend doing sometimes, especially when we have the lines for the cooler going down the way they are. All right, let's flip this over. Let's look at the back. So, all right, so this is an AMD backplate. Good deal. We're not going to have to worry about anything with that. What we are going to need to worry about is disconnecting any of the cables from the loop, which actually look to be pretty straightforward. Go. We're going to remove this filter. Get this removed. Now, I've actually had a lot of problem with these MSI coolers myself. This is probably one of the more common repairs that I do on these guys. Is on, like, if it's a pre-built that has this cooler, I will generally see problems with it. All right, now. To get thermal paste everywhere. This doesn't even look like it was making good contact. Yeah, I'll show you what the contact area looked like, meaning that it was not making very good contact with the CPU, which would also cause it to overheat as well. All right. Disconnect all of our cables here. And that just goes to a fan splitter. That's out. So that's removed. There we go. And it is gone. So let's take a quick look here. You can already see from like a distance how small the contact patch was on this processor. Usually you want, like with these ones, you specifically want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dots so that once it gets compressed, it will fully spread out. So we'll get that cleaned off of there. And then pull the new stuff out of the box, get all the hardware set up, and get ready to go with it. So this is a Ryzen. It's a Ryzen 5 5600X, which is a great little processor. Even though they're better processors, I still personally like it a lot. All right. Go in a little. There we go. All right. So now let's set this off to the side. So the nice thing that's gonna, one of the nice things is gonna be, one of the nice things about this computer is that it already has some Corsair stuff in it. So when we put this new cooler in here, all of it should talk it to each other. We'll see once we get a little bit farther in there, and we'll find out for sure. Let's set this off to the side. Get this open. Get it unpacked. It has the cooler failed. The pump inside the cooler was grinding. 2 fans. Radiator. So we don't have the Commander Pro. We just have the single cable with this one. And then here's our mounting hardware. AM4. That's going to go back in there because it's Intel. That is Threadripper. I don't know what it is about the MSI integral pumps that causes them to fail so much. So this is the actual thing that's failing on this. So, like, it is, in the past year alone, I've probably replaced 6 of them. Alright, so Threadripper retention stuff. So we're going to leave this on here for as long as possible, because as you can see there's some thermal paste on there. We're going to leave this on there, make sure it's down. And then when it comes time to install it, we'll put the brackets on, we'll put the screws in, and yeah, we'll go from there. Should, in theory, be relatively quick. So we're going to have this set up like this inside the case. And this plate can magnetically rotate. So I should have plenty of room. Yeah, we should be able to put that on the motherboard. If not, and we have to go like this. I'm not a huge fan of that, but we'll see. Regardless, our fans are all going to be set up the same way. I wonder. These fans are fine. Corsair fans. So there's no RGB on this at all. We're going to use their pre-existing fans so that they can keep some of their LED-ness. Let's move this over for them. Because there's nothing wrong with the fans. we just need to verify, yeah, we just need to verify that one of these can be plugged into the motherboard, which it can be. So, yeah. And we'll use actually some electrical tape instead of Scotch tape to hold this all together. So, we're going to use the correct hardware for the other side of this. Interesting. There should be something in this, but there's nothing in this. That's fun. It comes disassembled, Emily. I'm just putting it together. Alright. Let's set this off to the side. Grab our tower. Ooh, before I put this in here, we still have a little bit of extra room. Pull out the AM4 socket sides. I'm going to thread in the standoffs. Thread it in. Okay. So that's ready for my bracket. I'll line this up. Alright, now, as per usual with these, you're going to use, there's two different lengths of screws. If we're going through the front of the case or the top of the case, we're going to use the short one because we're not going through a fan. And as always, we are always going to use the washers. Always. 100%. No, actually, you know what? I'll show you why. This actually has like the perfect layout for me to show you exactly why it's so important to use washers with this. Alright, let's rotate this. Get this down here. So you can kind of see here how wide this is with the washer. Without the washer, you can see that it was starting to pull through the actual case and starting to bend the metal. And I guarantee you this isn't a computer that got moved around a lot. Like, this thing is dusty enough that it's sat in one location. So, you know, you don't want to end up in a situation where suddenly your whole cooler just pulls itself through because of some random, like, setup mistake. So if you have the option to install washers, when you're installing your radiator, install the washers. Let's go ahead and we're going to pull this off. Pull off the wrong brackets for that. Put on the right brackets. And line everything up. So he's gonna make a nice solid connection here. That pulled off of there. That's nice and attached now. Need to get this cable out of here. Just a little rubber band. Get all of this routed through the back. And go up over here. We are, at this point, just feeding cables through. And then we will show a little bit of super exciting cable management. Alright, so now we have this splitter we're going to take off the front of the case, so we no longer need that. So, coming off the front here, or out of this cable bundle that's going to the cooler, we are going to plug, should be CPU fan 1 and CPU fan 2. So now the speeds of those two MSI fans will be controlled by the Corsair cooler. Next, we're going to take these cables, zoom in a little bit for this. We have these two cables. What we're going to do is we are going to daisy chain them. Yeah, they have some writing on them, which you can kind of see there. Got to make sure you line them up correctly. And then there are two different ways of holding these things together. Sometimes the cooler kits themselves will come with a little black cap that goes over them. What I like using is a little bit of electrical tape. So we just, because you'll notice the electrical tape just happens to be right about the right width for these things. And like once you have it on there, you just give it a little cut. And that thing is going to be held together pretty well. That guy's not going to go anywhere. So we're going to leave the cap on this end. And then this end is going to get plugged directly into the motherboard header that matches up with this. Back out. So let's start with this header. Which we're going to go in through right here on the motherboard somehow. And get that slotted in. Well, that's now connected, and we're ready to cable manage this out of the way along with that. Undo my mistake. The next thing we'll do is we'll grab this. We have 3 different connectors here that we need to hook up. One is just SATA power, which that's now done. Then we have a USB connector, and then we have a fan pump header, which this I'm going to go directly to the CPU fan header. This is going to go to the bottom. Go in through one of these little slots and plug this into your USB header. That is backwards. Small problem. This motherboard only has a single USB header, which could be a problem. So what is this USB cable for? So this USB cable goes to the rest of this RGB stuff. How do we end up in a world where there's only one USB header on motherboards? Oh, thank you for the subscription. Unfortunately, of these two items, I do believe your CPU pump is slightly more important. I might have to order a USB header splitter, which is something that exists. I'm pretty sure I do not have one. The only question is, now that we got everything hooked up, I don't even know if this thing's going to work, because that was run by some control software. Alright, so these guys will come this angle. We'll have the video card here. Speaking of which, does this even... this video card doesn't even require PCI power. This 1050 Ti. Alright. So, one thing that I still need to hook up is the CPU fan pump speed. See if one of these is specifically for the CPU fan optional. We're just going to plug that directly into the CPU fan. Alright, now that we got this installed for this customer, we are going to run a quick stress test on it. We'll run a burn-in test and see what it do now. So that's it. Everything's installed. Everything's good to go. We ran a full, temperature cycle on it. And yeah, everything's good. Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked that video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I stream daily on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpecVengeance. And yeah, if you want to learn more about my services, check out Bradenton PC Repair.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.